You just did the math. Again, lying there at night, phone face down on your chest, staring at the ceiling, running the same numbers you always run. How much is coming in? How much is going out? How many more years of this before something actually changes? And the answer keeps coming back the same. Too many. That feeling? That's not anxiety. That's your future trying to get your attention. Because here's the thing nobody actually says out loud. Most people are not going to retire at 65 with a comfortable life. Most people are going to work until their body tells them to stop, and then spend whatever years they have left trying to recover from 4 decades of doing exactly what they were told. Save a little, spend the rest. Repeat until you're too tired to continue. You were handed a plan that was never designed to get you out early, and the painful part is you've been following it. Think about the last 3 years of your life. Where did the money go? Not the big stuff. The big stuff you remember. I'm talking about the $14 a month streaming service you forgot you signed up for, the gym membership that became a monthly donation to a building you drive past, the takeout that was just once that somehow became Tuesday and Thursday and sometimes Sunday too, the raise you got 18 months ago that disappeared into a lifestyle that expanded the moment the income did. You didn't blow your future on one bad decision. You traded it away in increments, quietly, comfortably, one small yes at a time. And the "I'll start investing next month," how many months has that been? 12? 24? Because every month you wait, you're not just losing a month, you're losing the compounding effect of that month. The interest on the interest on the interest that would have worked for you while you slept, while you ate, while you did literally anything else. Time is the only resource that cannot be refunded, and right now, you're spending it like it's cheap. There's a retirement calculator most people open once and close immediately. You know why they close it? Because the number that comes up, the number of years left until they can stop, doesn't say what they hoped it would say. It says something like 41 or 53, and that's too honest to sit with. So the tab gets closed and life continues. Here's what that calculator is actually measuring. It's not measuring how hard you work. It's not measuring your intelligence or your discipline or how many hours you put in. It is measuring one number, one ruthless, indifferent number, your savings rate, the percentage of what you earn that you actually keep. And this is where most people's entire financial life starts and ends. They earn, they spend almost all of it, they save a fragment, and then they wonder why the timeline stretches out to the horizon and never seems to get closer. But here's what happens next, and this is the part most people miss. When you understand how savings rate actually connects to your retirement timeline, something shifts, not in a motivational poster kind of way, in a mathematical, this is actually real kind of way. If your savings rate is sitting at the national average, somewhere around 5%, you are looking at over 50 years before you can walk away. 50 years. If you're 25 right now, that's retirement at 75. If you're lucky, push that savings rate to 30% and the timeline collapses to around 28 years. Get it to 50% and you're looking at 17 years. And if you can get it to 75%, and I'm going to show you exactly how ordinary people actually do this, you can be done in 7 years, starting from zero. 7 years. Not because you got lucky, not because you inherited something, because you understood a game that most people are playing blind. Now, and this is where it gets interesting, most people here save 75% of your income and immediately think that means eating rice and sleeping on a mattress on the floor. It doesn't. It means something far more strategic than that. It means you start thinking about money like the people who actually escape the system think about it. Let me tell you about a couple. Late 20s, nothing saved, combined income of about $90,000 a year. Not rich, not broke. Exactly where most people live. They weren't cutting lattes or coupon clipping. They made 2 structural decisions. They moved into one side of a small duplex and rented the other unit out. Their housing cost, the single biggest expense in most people's lives, dropped to almost zero, and they stopped treating income increases like permission to spend more. Every raise, every bonus, every side income stream went directly into building the gap between what they earned and what they spent. 5 years later, they were done. Not retired in the sit on a beach forever sense, retired in the I never have to take a job I don't want again. Work became a choice. That's the actual goal. Not a number, a choice. But here's what nobody taught you about why this feels impossible. And I want to be clear, this is not about blaming you. The system you are handed was not built to produce people like that couple. It was built to produce consumers. From the moment you started earning money, there were entire industries, entire economies built around the single goal of making sure the gap between your income and your spending stayed as small as possible. Subscription models, financing options, the psychological pull of watching people around you upgrade their lives while you hold still. Lifestyle inflation doesn't announce itself. It moves in quietly. It feels like living. It feels like enjoying your money. And it is until you're 50 and you realize you enjoyed your money and have nothing left to show for it. Nobody told you this because nobody around you knew it either. You were too busy surviving the month to see the decade, too focused on the next bill to see the pattern those bills were forming. And the one class that could have changed all of this, the one class that would have shown you how money actually compounds, how savings rate actually works, how time actually moves against the people who wait, that class was never offered. You got algebra, you got the American Revolution, you did not get this. And this is where everything you thought you knew about retiring early breaks. The wealthy don't think about money the way you were taught to think about money. Most people think about money as something you earn and then allocate. You pay the bills, you fund your lifestyle, and if something is left over, you save it. The wealthy, the people who actually exit early, flip the entire sequence. They save first. They invest first. The lifestyle gets what's left. It sounds like a small difference. It is not a small difference. Over 10 years, it's the difference between retiring and not. There's a principle underneath this that changes how you see every financial decision you make from this point forward. Every dollar you earn is not just a dollar. It's a unit of future freedom. And right now, most of your units are being deployed into other people's businesses. The coffee shop, the streaming platform, the car dealership, the restaurant. Every time you spend, you are funding someone else's financial independence. That's not judgment. That's just the math of where money moves. The people who retire in 5 to 7 years are not depriving themselves. They are redirecting. They understand that a dollar saved at 25 is not a dollar. It's somewhere between $8 and $15 by the time they're 40, depending on how it's invested. So they stop asking, can I afford this? They start asking a completely different question. What does buying this actually cost me in time, in years, in choices? That's the identity shift, not the budget, not the spreadsheet, the identity shift. Because budgets don't fail because the math is wrong. Budgets fail because the person running the budget hasn't decided yet who they are. They're still in the mindset of someone who earns and spends. They haven't crossed over into the mindset of someone who earns and builds. Here's the second principle, and this one is uncomfortable. Your income has a ceiling only if you let it. There is a limit to how much you can cut. There is no limit to how much you can earn. And the fastest path to a 75% savings rate is not just spending less, it's earning more while keeping your spending flat. Every time your income goes up and your spending stays the same, your savings rate doesn't just increase, it accelerates. The gap widens. The timeline shrinks. The people who retire in 5 to 7 years almost always have a side income stream. Not because they're working themselves into exhaustion, because they made a decision at some point to stop only trading time for money and start building something that could earn while they weren't watching. An online business, a property that generates rent, a skill turned into a service. It doesn't have to be massive. It has to be real, and it has to compound. Consider this. Someone earning $70,000 a year, saving the average 5%, they need over 50 years to retire. Now, imagine that same person adds $2,000 a month from a side business and keeps their lifestyle exactly the same. Their savings rate doesn't just double, it quadruples. Their timeline doesn't get cut in half, it collapses because they change the math at 2 levels simultaneously. Income up, spending flat, savings rate exploding. The third principle is the one that separates the people who talk about this from the people who actually do it. Time is not on your side if you're waiting. Time is on your side only if you start. There is a man, real person, left a W-2 job in his early 30s with a small real estate portfolio and a modest online business who said the most clarifying thing about this entire subject. He said, I didn't retire because I had enough money. I retired because I finally understood that waiting for enough money was the trap. The trap is waiting for the perfect moment. The trap is I'll start when I make more. The trap is the market is too uncertain right now. The trap is every version of tomorrow that has been keeping you exactly where you are. Because here's the uncomfortable truth you need to sit with. 5 years from now, you will be somewhere. The question is not whether time will pass. It will. The question is whether you will have used it or just survived it. Every person you look at right now who seems financially free, who works
because they want to, travels when they want to, doesn't check their bank account before saying yes to something. Every single one of them started before they felt ready.